Hey everybody, welcome back to this new episode of The Vault, and today we've got a really special guitar. I think you might have seen her on our website or in our new arrivals already. It's by far the most expensive and rare guitar we've ever had in our store. Have you guessed it already? It's a 1960 Gibson Les Paul Standard Burst. My oh my. There are those times in life when you just have to take a moment to admire something you'll most probably see only once in a lifetime. Just last week we had such an occasion when this stunning Gibson Les Paul Standard from 1960 arrived in its period correct hardshell case. We've been admiring this guitar for a few days now, and before it's time to officially put her for sale, we wanted to give her some extra love in the form of this episode of The Vault. This is an instrument with an interesting story, of course. What would a 1960 Burst be without an interesting story? Through a few previous owners, we've now gathered that this specific guitar was once part of the collection of Hollywood actor Steven Seagal, who is an incredibly avid guitar collector. The history of this Burst inevitably starts somewhere early in 1960 in the Gibson factory in Kalamazoo. As most of you viewers will probably know, both 1959 and 1960 are the most sought after years when it comes to Les Pauls. At the time though, the Les Paul Standard model was far from successful. They produced about 1600 of them from 1958 through 1960, but sales were still down, and in 1960 the company discontinued the model, introducing a different solid body style in 1961. The low production numbers, in combination with the fact that in the 60s and 70s players like Eric Clapton, Keith Richards and Peter Green popularized them, are amongst the reasons these guitars are considered to be the holiest of holy grails. This particular guitar is what some call a transition size 1960 flame top. The transition neck, as it is known, is not as large as in 58 or 59, but just a bit smaller, in typical 1960s. Digging deeper, the pot codes on all four Centralab pots read 134936. Let me break that down for you. 134 is the code for Centralab, 137 would have been CTS, and 934 dates the pots to the 34th week of 1959. The tuners are single-line, single-ring specimens which fit in with the rest of the story. The finish is quite another matter. The nice faded burst finish might look genuine, but it is actually relatively recently applied by Historic Makeovers in Lake Mary, Florida. This was very much needed after she'd had a bad refinish somewhere in the 1970s. Luckily, the stripping and sanding of the guitar was actually done quite well, very little wood was removed and the contours are all in great shape, as can be seen in this video. As she is now, the beautiful, deeply flamed maple top can be admired in all its glory, and it's actually one of the most spectacular tops we've seen on a Les Paul to date. Of course, we would have liked to see an all-original finish, but that would have at least doubled the price of this guitar. In some ways, this can be regarded as quite a steal, as ridiculous as that might sound. A dilemma Historic Makeovers had to overcome during the restoration process was the matter of the missing serial number, which was gouged out and filled in with Bondo during its first refinish in the 1970s. Making up a new, genuine 1960 serial number might have been confusing, as there could have been an actual instrument with that serial number, and giving it an obvious fake serial number could also have been the way to go. But eventually, it was decided that this Les Paul was to receive a donor serial number from a genuine vintage Gibson Melody Maker from 1960 as well. If you look closely at the serial number on the headstock, you can see that a small piece of perfectly matching mahogany was inlaid where the original serial number was gouged out. After applying the donor serial number and refinishing and aging the guitar, it is very hard to tell that all this work was done, and a perfect solution if you ask us. We'll link to the entire story and the pictures of the process in the description. Last but not least, we can't just skip over one of the most important parts of this guitar, the original patent applied for, or PAF as most of us know them, humbucking pickups. First used on lap steel and electric guitars in 1957, these humbucking pickups, invented by Seth Lover, bear the almost mythical black sticker with gold lettering stating patent applied for. The PAFs in this Les Paul have never been tampered with. The pickup covers have never even been removed. This is great for the originality, but it also means we cannot find out if these PAFs are actually black or the coveted black, white or zebra versions. The other parts of the electronics are all original, including the two spray caps, but they were removed during restoration and resoldered. Now let me tell you, these pickups sound beastly. There is truth to the legends told about the sound of these original PAFs, and those telling you otherwise have probably never played the real ones. I could go on talking about this guitar all day, but I think it's best to let the guitar do the talking. Now let's hear Jim play this beauty. Thanks for watching, everybody. Boy, that Jim can play, huh? And doesn't she sound beautiful? What a beast. Join us in the next episode of The Vault, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe and like our video. Bye bye.